we now welcome our good friend, Brandon Aubrey, kicker for the Dallas Cowboys.
Look at them all well rested now.
Yeah.
That's right. Was on a big bender this weekend at the Super Bowl. Hello,
I don't think
Brandon.
anyone's ever said I've been on a bender. That's kind of cool. I went on a bender.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what we would call it, but you were out real late every night.
Yeah. The second night, alcohol sounded terrible, so didn't drink. But first night I was drinking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm
It's New Orleans.
kind of half bender, maybe.
Okay. Thanks for joining us for the Super Bowl, if you even remember that. I had no idea, really, that you were on such little sleep when we talked to you Sunday, or else I probably would have just told you to, bail out if you want. But thanks for joining
I
us.
don't bail out of things when I commit. When I commit, I'm gonna follow through, even if I feel like crap.
Even if it's a 3-year contract that you've way overperformed for.
Yeah.
But I said that, not you.
Hold out.
Yeah.
Hold out.
I've never seen a kicker hold out. I don't know how that would work. I feel like they just be like, well, meet us at game day. You'll be ready. We'll be fine. We don't need you for practice.
Yeah.
I have no idea how
And
that
then you
works.
miss
but-
camp checks. That's
Yeah,
gotta be
and I
fun.
don't want to come in rusty either. If I'm holding out, my long snapper and punter are going to be there, so I can't like force them to hold out too, so I can get some work in. So like I'm going to show up to season sharp and ready to go.
So we consider you a good friend. So you were in New Orleans. You were doing Super Bowl related stuff for paper towels. It was paper towels, correct?
Yeah, for bounty.
Which made I was wondering, and I'm a big Bounty fan. So let's start with that.
If you've known Jake for 5 minutes, you know he
Not a
loves Bounty.
racist.
Yeah.
Loves Bounty. I just was, we've done those Super Bowl Radio Row interviews before where there's a product or a sponsor attached to it. And I was just wondering if you, now with us, could tell us about some of the exciting things that Bounty has coming.
Yeah. So obviously we're past the Super Bowl now, but the big tagline is you can't have football without wings, and you can't have wings without bounty. So go pick up some bounty and make sure you got a nice clean party. You don't get your wing sauce all over your couch and stuff.
The unsung hero of any party. Bounty.
Yes, exactly.
I also heard that when they were walking you around, some of our good friends that we used to work with didn't know who you were. Confirm or deny?
Yeah, there was one spot where Zach was sitting down. They had booked it with Zach, and I think it was D-Law was supposed to be there, but he had a kid situation where a kid was being born, and he had to obviously be there for that. So I was filling in, so they didn't really understand what's going on. I thought I was like Zach's handler sitting down, putting a mic on. Like, who's this guy? And someone stepped in and goes, "That's the kicker for the Cowboys." I'm like, oh crap. That's the only time.
Check still clears.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the only ones that didn't recognize you were the Dallas radio station.
Yeah, more or less. But I don't think they got the memo that I was coming.
Right.
So,
And look, to be fair, there are probably only 5 kickers I could identify sight unseen. Now, one of them is the Cowboys kicker, but yeah.
Yeah, especially with how much airtime we got the past 2 seasons, really. I mean, like the stories of pick up and run with my face all over them. I feel like I've got more than my fair share of media coverage as a kicker this past 2 seasons.
Yeah, jury duty.
Oh my gosh.
Hitting cheerleader in the head.
Yeah. That one was surprisingly probably the most media coverage of anything I've done in the league was hitting the cheerleader.
Did we ever say that you connected? Yeah, you did.
Yeah. He wrote her a note.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's go through your weekend again. Let's just let everybody know, because just for your weekly show, people who watch the weekly show and not all the Super Bowl stream, you went to New Orleans, and then you slept 2 hours a night. So what was your Friday night like?
Friday night, I flew out. I landed in New Orleans about 8 p.m. quickly caught an Uber. I was supposed to be, or I was invited to a dinner with the Cowboys corporate sponsors, and obviously couldn't make it because I wasn't aware I was invited to that stuff when I was booking my flight. But they heard I was going to be around, so they invited me to dinner, and then they were going after dinner to a Bud Light party, which was basically just a concert with fancy branding. And at the concert, Post Malone was headlining. Obviously, he's a big Cowboys fan. He loves everything Cowboys, and I'd met him before on the field after, or actually before the Giants game in New York. He was wearing an Aubrey jersey on the field for whatever reason, and he knows all of my stats, which is pretty crazy. But apparently, he's a fan. So I'd met his security staff before, and up in the crowd, I saw the security guy, and he invited me and the corporate sponsors that I was with down into the green room afterwards. So just got to hang out with Posty for what was like an hour or so, and he got to chat with all the corporate brands he wanted to get deals done with, which was cool to watch. And then after everyone cleared out, I was about to go home, but Austin, his name's Austin, he invited me. Well, he kind of like said, "You're coming." So
this is the security guy.
Invitation. No, this is
Austin.
Post. Yeah.
Oh.
Austin Post is his actual name, but he goes by stage name Post Malone. But even on stage, he'll say, "Hey, I'm Austin Post." So everyone knows him by Post Malone, but his actual name's Austin. So he basically said, "You're coming with me to the after party," which was at a hotel like lobby area, kind of converted into just like I don't even know what to call it, just a party with a bar and DJ and all that. And it was being put on by Raising Cane's because apparently everything on Super Bowl weekend has to be sponsored by some sort of corporation.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you with Zach Martin at this time as well, or this is just now you?
Yeah, this is just me.
Okay.
Me and the corporate sponsor liaison. I'm not sure what his title is, but a Cowboys employee whose job is to manage and kind of entertain those corporate sponsors and also manage me, make sure I don't get into trouble, which is, I think, an easy job, I would say. So then apparently celebrities are being paid to be at this party, I'm pretty sure, because they were just filing in one after another. I was just kind of sitting on a windowsill watching as the line of celebrities went over to talk to Post Malone. So it's kind of cool just to sit there and watch names that you've seen on TV and you know who they are, all kind of file in and pay their respects to Post Malone. It just shows how popular and cool he is at the moment.
Like who? Like who did you see?
Yeah,
the Orlando
Leonardo
Bloom?
DiCaprio. No, but even cooler, Leonardo DiCaprio was there. Shabuzi, Tyga, OBJ walked in.
Nice.
There were other rappers that, see, I'm not super familiar with a bunch of the rappers, but there were a bunch of them there. And then Drewski was there.
Nice.
I wasn't aware who he was, but I was sitting with Post's guitarist, and he was kind of informing me who everyone was. So it was cool to see.
Drewski is a celebrity that is just everywhere. I think that's why he's famous. Is he's just
He's funny too.
he's everywhere.
His stuff is funny. Like,
Isn't?
I mean, he got a following. I think his stuff, his early stuff. Like, I'm talking about the Rolling Stones. He's an internet comedian.
Did you say who the DJ was?
The DJ at that party there wasn't. At least I didn't know. I think it was just a no-name DJ. But the next night went to fancy dinner with Cowboys sponsors, which took forever. It was like a 5-hour dinner, which is
Hate that.
way too long. And then eventually we made our way down to another sponsored party. It was there was an EA Sports party that we didn't go to. This one was. Well, it's not important. We went to a sponsored party, and Diplo was the headliner, and I had no idea who he was.
Jen was on stage.
Jen's on
Yeah, she
stage
was.
with Diplo?
Yeah, you know they didn't let men up there. Kind of sexist.
Yeah.
Hey,
It is what it
I've
is.
tried
again, the
before.
white male.
I've seen Diplo a
Yeah.
few times. You cannot go wrong there. That's going to be a fun
Yeah.
time.
It was a lot of fun. I don't really know that genre of music very well, but it I mean got everyone into like a dancing mood. It's just high energy. It was fun. It kept me awake because if it wasn't for that kind of music, I probably would have been asleep on the couch.
Yeah, that's workout music for me. I love
Oh
me
yeah.
some Diplo. So he probably didn't mention me to you when you guys were in the car. But I was at Post Malone's first show, like real show, I believe kind of ever. It was in
Hmm.
Dallas.
Like in Grapevine or something? He's from
No,
Grapevine, right?
yeah, but he's
Yeah.
he's from upstate New York, but he went to high school here.
All right.
But my friend was his manager early on and was in the green room with his dad. He had one, maybe two songs, so he had to do White Iverson, no lie, 7 times.
A lot of tattoos? Or
Oh yeah, he was full him.
Oh,
But
okay, I didn't know.
There was a few hundred people there, trees, and they knew White Iverson, and so he was like, "I'll just keep doing it," and everyone was like,
Yes.
"Well, we love it, so yeah."
just
And then
play
within a
some-
year, he was like at the Grammys. It happened very fast.
So did you meet him that night?
Met his dad.
Okay.
But it felt
What was he
weird. I mean, he's just like a regular. He's like a regular corporate dad. You know, he's an executive with Legends, the Cowboys concessions company. He's just a
Hmm.
normal, like new upstate New York seeming dad.
he's not all inked up. And,
No, he's not. Like I have friends like that. That if they're super music person, it's because they grew up like that.
yeah.
I think his dad was just like really supportive, but I didn't get the vibe that he was, a former musician. But it was cool though.
So Post has this security team, and then does every celebrity? I would think Leo is surrounded by 5 guys as well, and like all these people walking up are.
Most of them had some sort of entourage with them, but Leo, I didn't see them. Maybe they're like sitting in the corner with a sniper, just waiting for someone to make a bad move. But I mean, he seemed just like a normal dude trying to have a good time. So I didn't. I mean, I introduced myself to him briefly, just said hi because you see Leo, you want to give him, you want to at least give a handshake. So I met him, then moved on because he was more interested in talking to everyone else that was there.
Is he short?
I mean, he's like average height, probably like 5'9", 5'10" ish. He looks short in that room because Post Malone's really tall, Shabuzi's really tall,
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
then obviously you got athletes all around. So he looked shorter than he probably is because he's like 5'9", if I had to guess.
It makes us feel better when the famous celebrities are short.
Yeah.
You
Like
just-
at least we
yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fake that.
Yeah.
I wish you would have been able to take Brian and Trent, and you guys could have just been like a little, like that's your entourage.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
we're all 3 with the Cowboys. Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. Just a unit. That would have made the night a lot more fun, actually.
With the
But
special
they're
teams.
a great time.
So you got home that night. What time? Friday night.
Friday night, I got home at like 4 and had to go. The reason I was actually there was for an appearance, which I guess they call an activation. I'm learning.
Great word.
That is great.
Yeah,
In the space.
I was with Mars Company, the candy company that's
Yeah.
got like Snickers and all that. So signed some autographs for their big customers, and then ran a station. They had 4 athletes there, 4 football players. Kicker was me. Running back was Bijan Robinson. Quarterback Drake May, and then wide receiver was Rome Aduzie.
Mhm.
And I ran a kicking station. They ran position stations based on their position, and basically like full grown adults ran around like their wide receivers, kickers, quarterbacks. It's pretty fun to watch, but they were just really excited to get to hang out with us. It was mostly just hang out with these people as a thank you for being such valued customers to Mars. So it was a fun event. They did have me kick 4 field goals, which I wasn't expecting. So I had on some runners. I took those off and just kicked them barefoot and like, yeah, It was. I was really kind of nervous for the first one. Like, I'm not warmed up. I'm coming off like 2 hours sleep with very dehydrated. Let's just give this a little half swing. But by the end, I was giving it full swings and sending them. Felt good.
Crowd went nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were some like former soccer players there because they have like a European division and they have a South American division that were up there. So like I hit in the first group, I hit like just a little rinky dinky ball, got it through the upright, and then you have guys coming up and smashing like, oh, I'm better than Aubrey. Like,
Yeah,
you can't have this.
No.
it's awesome.
That'd be quite the story if you tore your ACL
Right.
at a Mars event or whatever.
Kicking for the company that makes combos.
Right.
They make combos?
Combos are so underrated.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Combo. Oh, is that the cheese cracker thingy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
yeah.
like a stuffed snack.
Yeah, but they got pizza flavor too.
You know they do. Do they have any others? Because
Do you
I'm
get any
just straight
free,
up
like-
pizza.
free boxes of candy or like the Bounty Mega Rolls. 16 rolls equals 32.
Oh man, we got. I wish I had some Bounty because that stuff is expensive at Costco. That's
Yeah.
where we get ours. But we got some free like experimental candies from Mars. We got like I don't know if I can say, but I'm gonna say anyways. But like a Snickerdoodle flavored Twix bar. That had some,
Hey
like,
now.
yeah, it's really good. There's like these Skittles that have like a normal Skittles probably like that big.
Yeah.
This one was like twice the size. It kind of looked like an Oreo with the Skittles candy coating on the like the chocolate on the Oreo, and then the filling was, I assume, whatever goes in an actual Skittle, and they're like extra crunchy. Yeah.
This is-
So you
What
got to
else?
have a giant Skittle.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then like a double stuffed Skittle. I'll put it that way.
There you go.
You ever
Um,
think when you're taking a penalty kick with your club team when you're 15 years old, you're grinding it out. Your
Software
parents are
engineer.
driving you all over the country, and you're like, is this worth it? That one day you would get to try an off-the-market big Skittle
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was going. That's the whole
With
reason
Ti- with
I worked
Tyga?
so hard. Yeah. Well, that's the whole reason you work so hard as a kid, right? Try
Sure,
these
get that candy.
Off-brand Skittles.
So you get back to the room at 4 a.m. You have to go to
Yeah.
this Mars event at what time?
It's at 9, but obviously with traffic, I need to eat something. So I got up at like 6:30, got some breakfast,
Oh,
and
what a beating.
got in my car, got out there. It's kind of, still fairly dizzy just standing up. So I was like, oh man, this is going to be a long day. But we got through it. It was like 9 to 12. Then it's like a 5-mile drive. Takes us 2 hours to get back to the hotel. Might as well have walked.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, then I take a brief nap. Jen lands and gets an Uber over to the hotel around like 6. We have that corporate sponsored dinner at 7:30. So Jen just gets ready in the room. Then we pop on into the dinner, schmooze with some sponsors for like a 5-hour dinner, and then we head over to that techno party, and that thing goes on until we left while Diplo was still playing, because we had a flight at 6 a.m. and it was like 3:15 when we left to get back to our room, just to grab our stuff and then head to the airport. So no sleep that night, and then got back to Dallas around 9 and proceeded to just crash until the Super Bowl, and then got on the phone with you guys.
It's so baller. I love it.
And now you're back to off-season, which is what
Yeah.
for you? How does the off-season, like, what's your day-to-day like?
Yeah, gonna start working out here. Just went for my first run, and gosh, the first run always sucks. I was a little bit out of shape, so gotta get back into shape. Just run, lift, eventually start kicking. Gonna be watching Colton while Jen works on the days that she works, and the days she doesn't work, we'll find some fun activity for the three of us to do, and hopefully get a couple vacations in. No idea when or where because we were terrible planners, but we'll get something last minute planned out, I'm sure.
Let me give you a suggestion.
Okay.
This one probably just for you think you'll be able to do maybe a couple small ones, you and just Jen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go to Iceland.
Iceland. How long is that flight?
I don't remember it being that long, but let me look real quick. But it's incredible. It's underrated. I just don't feel like you hear that much about it, and it's
Are we buying that?
what, that it's underrated.
Or is that Greenland? What are we buying?
We're trying to buy Greenland.
Greenland.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. It's about It looks like it's about 8 hours, but it's magical, and you can afford it.
This hiking? Like, what's the
Well,
major
so
attraction?
you can drive. You rent a car. You can drive around the whole island. It's called the Ring Road, and it doesn't take more than a day. And it's where Game of Thrones. A lot of Game of Thrones is filmed.
Is that where it was 24 hours light in a day?
When
you
I
were there?
went, yes, it was. And we went
Hmm.
in the. Well, you do want to check on that because that means there's another time where it's dark for 24 hours.
Yeah.
But when we went, it was light the entire time. There's a waterfall that's the most breathtaking thing you've ever seen every 5 miles on that road. It's out of this world cool. There's the Blue Lagoon. They have a big natural pool. Anyways, we'll talk.
And it has
Yeah, no, that sounds like fun.
it has a penis museum too. If
They
you're
do
interested
actually
in that.
have a museum dedicated to two penises of animals and throughout time.
And Jimi Hendrix.
What? Can you elaborate on that? Like, why?
I don't know. They're weird too. I'll tell you that. It's a weird folk.
Yeah.
They're weird people. They're really into metal. They're all white, so they don't have any minorities being like, "Hey, that's weird. That white thing you're doing. This is a little bit too far." Like we have that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you leave whites just completely unchecked, they're like, "What about a dick museum?"
We just put it in a
But
cast and put it up.
do they actually have Jimi Hendrix penis
They
like in a
have
jar?
what they say is an exact replica. Basically, it's a mold, but they do have 200 to 500 whatever other ones. They got the blue whale, which is impressive. Frankly, I mean,
Yeah.
it's what you think it is.
A blue whale's wiener.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty big.
I'm kind of speechless on that.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
Nothing to
now
add to
petered
that.
As it were. I like it.
yeah, we've petered out.
I like it.
Yeah.
But what a season it has been, Brandon Aubrey. Want to do this again next year?
Well,
Can
hold
we
on real quick.
get a
Have you
verbal
talked
contract for
to
that
Have you
now?
talked to Coach Sorensen?
Oh,
I
we have a
yeah, I
new
spoke
we have a
with
new
him.
special teams coach.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Yes, we do. Nick Sorensen. He's the defensive coordinator for the 49ers last year. And before that, he was a special teams coordinator for the Jaguars.
I remember him
And-
quite well as a player, just because
Okay.
he was like the guy that I thought maybe one day I could be. Like doesn't really have a position, kind of a safety, white, and just
Yeah.
really willing to cover kicks. And he was good.
Yeah,
he
he's
was good.
He's a personal protector, a PP, another joke for you guys, on punt, for a long time, and then all the special teams positions, there's special teams ace. So he knows his thing to do about covering punts, covering kickoffs, and all that. So excited to get to work with him. I think he's in town today. I think he just finished his move up and gets to go talk about personnel. So hopefully we get some personnel moves here pretty soon. We get our guys locked up for, I would say, hopefully more than 1 year, but who knows? Well, let's see what happens. I
Yeah,
think they're
let's-
going to start making moves.
Let's get Brian and Trent back. Let's
Got
get the
to.
trio.
Got to.
Yes.
Do you know anything
absolutely.
about that? Are they talking thus far?
I have no idea. They've been moving slowly, but I think they've got their full coaching staff in place now. If I'm not mistaken, maybe a few pieces to add here and there, but they've got enough in place to start talking about players, which is usually doesn't happen until the whole coaching staff's in place. So hopefully we can get some news on who we're going to bring back and who we're not going to bring back.
Do you hate that the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
I wish I said yes, but I'm kind of indifferent at this point. Like it's not us, so who cares who wins it if it's not us? I guess the Eagles a tough one, but the alternative wasn't much better. The Chiefs. It's like I don't want the Lions to win either.
Yeah, I found myself as Cowboy fan. Last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, it meant a lot to me. But this time, and I think there are a lot of people who share this who are just Dallas sports fans. I'm so sports numb right now that
Because of Luca?
because of Luca that it's like, okay, whatever. The Eagles, they're good. They've been good, so fine. Just wait till
Yeah,
next year,
and
bitch.
and didn't AD already get injured?
Yeah, and he's probably out for the year, but they know
Oh
that if they
man.
say that right now, it's going to be very bad. So what they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
to do is they'll wait a couple weeks, say he's being reevaluated, and then they'll shut him down for the year.
There's been a setback in the rehab.
Yeah, the setback is that he re-aggravated the same abdominal injury in a non-contact way, which usually doesn't mean back in a week.
Well, what? So it's a core muscle injury.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's like a pull or if it's a tear.
I think it's a strain, but yeah, he's not going to be
It's
back.
not coming
And
back.
on top of that, Lively, their young big, is out for the rest of
Yeah.
the regular season. And last night, their starting center that they were playing with AD in place of Lively, Daniel Gafford, took what I guess looked like a knee. He's probably done for the year.
What about PJ? Is he still playing?
PJ's is not as bad. So PJ's in the mix, but they don't have a center right now. Like literally.
Yeah, I tuned in for the last 35 seconds of the Mavs game last night. Saw the Thompson three, and like, hey, look,
Yeah,
we're winning.
that was
And,
cool.
it
That was a
lasted like
nice
10
play.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max Christie on the inbound
Yeah.
is a nice player.
Yeah, and then let
Mhm.
DeRozan split a double team.
Dinwiddie, not the greatest. Well, anyways, let's talk soon. If you do anything cool, let's talk afterward. If you go on a trip or I don't know, whatever, just keep in touch.
You can play NCAA
All right.
sometime.
Sounds good. You guys have my number. Feel free to text me. It's not weird. I
Don't tell
promise.
Dan that.
Yeah.
How you feeling this morning, bud?
Can you believe this
Yeah.
weather?
All right,
So
man.
does he text you guys an excessive amount? Is
The
that
weird
what I'm
thing is,
hearing
like,
here?
Dan
They
doesn't.
just think if I text you
Dan
something
doesn't
that you're
text
going to be
us.
upset.
Dan doesn't text us really at all. He doesn't
Yeah.
respond to text. And then every day we show up over here, every day he's like, "Oh, I was texting with Brandon," and we're like, "Whoa!"
It's because I told him that one time I was going to text you Bones' birthday, and it was over the Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "No, dude, you're going to bother him. He doesn't want to be bothered by you." I'm like, "He's a cool guy. He'd want to know
And
this."
the next thing we know, he's sending you his Wordle scores. Just like, what do you think of
Yeah.
this?
Oh, man.
And
You
then
know,
he-
I brought him a calendar, and
Yes.
so I went to the UPS store to mail you that calendar,
Uh-huh.
and they were like, they put it on the thing, and they're like, "It'll be $20." I'm like, "Wait, it's right 2 towns over. I don't have to." And they're like, no, it's too big for the whatever machine. I go, no, it's not. Just throw a few stamps on it. And they were arguing with me, so I go, wait, I'll just take it and drop it off at his house, because obviously I had the address on it. And so we had a remote when we were at Wire Will's house, and I stopped by Brandon's house after, and
Kind of just make yourself at home and
yeah, I went in and
post up. And
I'm looking in the fridge. I'm like, this is it? Jesus, where's
burped Colton.
No, so I go and I just walked up. He had like some pet food, like was delivered on the porch, and I set it on top of the pet food, thinking, okay, they'll find it easy on this box. They'll have to take this box in. And I get in my car to leave, and I see Jen. His wife comes outside, and then she then recognized me and is like, "Oh, I thought you were like a stalker or something." She's like, "We get that sometimes, because I suppose,
yeah,
as you know, people finding
Yeah,
us
oh,
here,
yeah.
addresses are listed, and she's like, "Yeah, we'll just get people driving by slowly, nodding. Nothing big, right? It's just that it's just
Part of it.
yeah." So she was whatever. And I didn't tell you guys because I thought, oh, you guys are gonna be like, oh, he's
A stalker.
leave Brandon alone, and I'm like, he's
What-
fine. It just
The part of the story he left out is when he was dropping the package off, walking in, Jen was opening the door to get the Chewy package, saw him, and slammed the door real fast and ran away.
Yeah, that checks out. To me, in this scenario, like Brandon is Shooter McGavin and Dan is that guy.
But I didn't knock
The
on
guy-
the door. I
The
didn't.
guy who's like, "Oh, I'll be a Red Lobster."
No, I saw someone in there turn around. Yes, and I thought, oh, is that like someone, the housekeeper, or someone babysitting? Or I'm trying to be respectful and whatever.
We don't have a housekeeper. Who do you think we are?
I
We're
don't
not
know.
making-
You're Brandon Aubrey. You're setting off to New Orleans, and
Hanging out with Diplo and
Posty.
Post.
you're eating
man.
not on the market candy bars.
Yeah, dude.
No one else has ever eaten. So
Oh,
your life is dope.
yeah. Yeah, it feels like it's picking up. It's been a lot of fun the last couple of years.
All right, why don't
Hopefully
we
we can
bring
keep
you
it
back
going.
down to earth a little bit? Why don't you go pick up that Costco order? Make sure they put everything in there. This is your off season, bud.
Absolutely. Running around with baby Colton doing basic house chores.
You got a baby
Be like a normal
Bjorn?
person for a while. Baby Bjorn. Maybe? What is that?
Oh, the thing that
We have a-
you put him on. It's like a backpack
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
front.
Yep, we have one of those.
Baby
Yeah, we do.
baby front pack.
Yeah, I just can't keep track of all the brands. Like actually I have it. It's a different one, but it's right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. He's not doing anything yet, right? He's just laying there, or can he roll over?
No, he's crawling. He's moving. He's rolling. He's crawling. He seems to not understand that his head, like the way he moves his head, propels way ahead of the rest of his body, and he smacks it into things. So you kind of got to just follow him around and put your hand on objects. So if he does that little head motion, smacks your hand instead of the bottom of the crib or whatever. But he's moving. He's very mobile.
What was that pet food? What kind of pet you got?
We got 2 cats. One is just your basic orange tabby street urchin we picked up off the street. And then the other one we got in Toronto. He's a Siberian forest cat, big fluffy guy. Really lazy at this point in his life. He's like 11 years old. All he does is roll out of bed, walk to the kibble, eat some kibble, then walk back to bed. But he's really cuddly. So yeah, we got 2 cats.
Okay, I didn't know if it was because you could put that behind somewhere the cat can jump. But my kids would get into the dog food all the time, eat it, play with the water, whatever.
You say your kids?
My kids would get
Yeah.
into yes when
When
they
they're-
were crawling,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I gotcha.
not when they're like teenagers.
How many times do I have to tell you guys?
Yeah, stop eating the dog food.
You can't tell me what to do.
What are
Oh,
the
geez.
names of your cats?
Brian
It's
and Trent.
Montgomery, Scott Aubrey. It's close to that. I mean, when we found the orange tabby in the park, Jen was going through a rough time, so I'm like, you can keep that cat, I guess, and you can name it whatever you want to name it. She picked Chief Patrick Mahomes III.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I have a cat named Chief Patrick Mahomes III.
I'll tell him.
And the other one is Montgomery.
Yep. We did not pick that name. He was we got him at a shelter. So he was already named. We were going to change it, but he knew that name. He said his name, and he'd just whip his head around and stare at you. So couldn't change it.
All right.